Hello and welcome to Seahawks Scouting. My name is Brandon and I do appreciate you for watching. As well, thank you to all of you out there who have subscribed here in the first couple of months of the channel. We're already pushing past 100 subscribers. I really do appreciate that support. So we've gotten through the first 3 picks of our Seahawks draft. Now it's time to move on just a little bit. We will double back around to those guys. But I wanted to, in this video, look at the secondary process of the draft, that being the undrafted rookie free agent class. Now, on many teams and in many prior Seahawks seasons, you wouldn't normally take a very close look at the undrafted rookie free agent class. Certainly for the more of the geekier of us Seahawks fans out there, it's a process we always pay attention to. But rarely is it that you're going to pull a player from this part of the draft. You're not going to get a guy usually that's going to give you much production on the field and certainly not going to give you any upper level kind of contribution up on the field. There is, after all, a reason that these guys do go undrafted. This year, I think there's a reason to believe that this is a little bit different, a little bit of an outlier year amongst the past. First off, right out the gate, you don't have the same kind of stacked roster you did in the Legion of Boom era, which made some of the top headline undrafted free agents hesitant to come to Seattle and play for them. After all, if you're an undrafted rookie free agent, you don't have a first or second or third round even pedigree to fall back upon, where if you don't start out strong, a team will have not really much patience for you and will cut you in the process and say goodbye, sayonara, we'll find somebody else. Whereas if you do have that draft pedigree, you can sometimes buy yourself a year or two. Look at a guy like Rasheem Green, who's still in his development process now, going into year 3 or 4 for our Seahawks, much because he was a toolsy third-round guy who is going to take some time to develop. So you've got to pick your spot just right if you're an undrafted free agent. And in those past years, Legion and Boom, it wasn't always the right spot with our Seahawks. With that said, I think this year is a little bit of that different year. Number one, right out the gate, Seattle only had 3 draft picks in this recent draft. That in itself meant that you're going to dangle a nice little carrot to these undrafted rookie free agents to say, look, we don't have a huge draft that you're going to have to compete up against. We got a couple of guys here. There's a wide open door to you making the roster. The other thing that comes into factor here is this year's odd way that the season played out. You had the whole COVID situation. You had players opting out. You had some guys that would get injured, play a few games, and then opt out. Some teams that would play a few games, stop their season whole out. It was just much tougher in general, I think, to evaluate the players this year as opposed to recent, more prior years where you had so much more data to go off of. That was going to mean there were going to be guys that fell through the draft process and available later on that were not going to be diamonds you had to unearth, that were going to be diamonds just sitting there on top of the lawn, ready for you to bend on down and pick up. And indeed, as I was hopeful that our Seahawks would crush this post-draft process in the perspective that they need to, you look at this roster in 2022, you look at this roster in 2023, we don't have a lot of players on the roster right now, and specifically we're in dire need of stacking up young talent on their rookie deals to make sure that we can manage the cap better here going into the next couple of years. So it was vital for this undrafted rookie crop to give Seattle something, to give them a couple players that they can pull from. And in his history, John Schneider, our general manager in 10 years, has found the occasional guy. You can point to a Doug Baldwin or even recently a Poona Ford, who they just gave a nice little second deal to here this offseason. So there is hope in this realm. And this year, I think that they indeed did crush it. There are others out there that do share my sentiment on this. You look at a guy like Jim Nagy, a former NFL scout, a guy that's won Super Bowls serving in that role. He is now the great overseer of the Senior Bowl year in and year out. He said he felt like Seattle got 2 drafts this year. The first draft being those first 3 picks, and then the secondary draft, the undrafted rookie free agent class. And sitting as the 2 crown jewels of this draft, Tamorrion Terry and Cade Johnson. There's some other interesting guys in here as well that we'll do some video breakdowns on, but these guys sit at the head of that crown shining bright. Reason being is that many draft pundits, draft nicks, saw these guys as guys that certainly should be drafted in this draft. There was a variance in where they saw them. Everybody saw Terry in somewhere between, it seems like, the 4th to 7th, 6th-ish round. I mean, even into the 7th seemed a little late for him. Nobody really saw him as an undrafted rookie free agent. Cade Johnson was a little more on that line in the 7th-ish, 6th-ish round, but everyone saw with him at the Senior Bowl that this is a guy who should be able to play in the NFL. He's kind of like a guy that if Doug Baldwin and Tyler Lockett had a baby, you'd get Cade Johnson. It's pretty much kind of the player you're looking at there. But for today's video, we're going to look at the first jewel on this crown, the one that has me a little more interested in the respect of, I can't believe this guy fell out of the draft. I haven't had the same kind of feeling with a player since DK Metcalf, and it's no coincidence that you have a lot of the same traits in this player, a player who plays the same position as DK, being that you go, what is it the NFL evaluators are overlooking here? What is it that they've missed? You aren't going to take a flyer on this guy? He sits 6'3", he runs 4'4", he can jump through the roof. Yeah, he's got the same questions that DK had as far as does he run the wide route tree. Yeah, there's a little bit of the injury history thing going on with him, and there's supposedly some hauntingly whispery thing going on with him off the field that nobody can exactly quite pinpoint down out there that did seem to exist with his background. But when we just look at him as the player on the field, and that's the nice thing with undrafted rookie free agents, you don't have to worry about the character risk aspect to them or the injury risk aspect to them. These guys are quite literally have no guarantee to make the roster, no guaranteed money. This is wish I may, wish I might kind of situation for these guys to make the roster. It's an uphill battle for them. With that said, when you look at this guy from the onset, before we dive into the film on him, you see 6'3", I can't teach. 4'4" on that body, I can't teach. Ball skills to go up and get the ball, I can't teach that. He has so many attributes that you can't teach in a football player. It's well worth taking a flyer as an undrafted rookie free agent. And when you look at the guy, he's got the biggest ceiling to me of any undrafted rookie free agent in the Seattle Seahawks' recent 10-year history with Schneider, and that includes Doug Baldwin. He also has the big-time bust factor with him, comboing both up the character risk aspect with a little bit of the injury risk. Maybe got a couple of dodgy knees there, or a dodgy knee, I'm only saying. But with that said, we're going to dive on into the film here with one of our first crown jewels. I got a lot of hope here for Tamorrion Terry, and I think he's got one little secret, itty-bitty secret aspect, little secret superpower, you could call it, that is going to almost certainly help him make the roster if he can stay healthy and out of trouble. Alrighty, you guys know how I like to do it. If we've got ourselves a little bit of a highlight package, I'm going to want to check it out first thing before we dive in and look at the game film. Gives you a nice little view into what the player does well out the gate. And when you are looking at prospects, what those former scouts tell us, what coaches will tell us, what front office people tell us about looking at prospects is look at what they can do. Look at what is repeatable for them as a skill, not at what they necessarily can't do, especially those things which can tend to be coachable items, coachable deficiencies. So we're going to take a look here at Tamorrion Terry. And right out the gate, you can see here, after he's busted off a 75-yard touchdown on a bubble screen, he's wearing his little monster mask, embracing his scary Terry persona. And this is going to be a fun little highlight film to watch. I think we're going to get a little bit of that taste that I was speaking of as far as what this guy can bring to the field day one. Almost has a little bit to me of a Brandon Marshall kind of body out there a bit. Not the same kind of player. Marshall was slower. He's faster. Marshall probably better as a more possession-ish type of receiver. And this is his go-to de facto trademark move. And that is going to be the Slugo Route, the stop and go. Or the post and go, which is kind of how he rolls it. Essentially comes off the line of scrimmage. You can see his hips already turned to the inside of the football field. He's trying to get this cornerback to bite on that. So he comes downhill and tries to jump a route. As soon as he can get that corner to bite, he then accelerates deep and gets to the go part of the Slugo. So this is what he does, is basically his patented move. You're going to see a couple times on this highlight package. I've seen it on a few of his game film. Something I think he's going to bring from day one to the ball game. And he just seems to get these corners to bite on it. And the proof's in the pudding. He's got easily 2 to 3 yards of separation by the time that this ball actually gets to him. That's pretty good separation. Just shows you how much he got that corner to buy in on that play. Legit 4.4 speed with this guy. And this is that bubble route I was talking about, Boise State. This is to show you he can do a little bit of stuff in space. He's not just a possession guy that'll run a 15-yard post route, catch the ball, and fall down. He catches the ball and turns into a yak guy. At 6'3" here, he's juking defenders. Stop, go, gas down, all gas, no brake. I like his potential from a yak standpoint. And here we're going to see a couple of highlights of him just burning guys over the top. This is in Toledo he's doing this against. That's 20th ranked Boston College. Florida's. Again, over the top, you can see him 2-3 yards of separation. He's not just barely stacked the defender, he stacked the defender by double. They're not even close to him by the time these balls are coming down. And he's going to a team with the best deep ball thrower in the entire NFL. Tell me that's not going to work. Again, wide open deep, no problem. Corner's not even there to contest the catch even a little bit. I do believe that this was another that post route to the center of the field there. He is really good at that too. Let him run under the football at that point. See a little of his contested catch now. He can high point a ball. See there? 6'3", 37-inch vert on his pro day. Contested catch ability. Here you get a play where a guy does a little bit of what we'd see with Russell Wilson. Granted, Russell will be able to scramble a little bit better, but this is still at least a vague kind of comparison you could make. The quarterback drops back to pass here. Okay, nothing's happening on time. The top of our screen, we've got our man Terry here. He's running a little stop route here, a little comeback route. Corner's on it. Quarterback sees that. Quarterback's then going to roll a little bit over here to his right, by a little bit of time, a la Russell Wilson. Terry sees it, breaks off his first route quickly, gets into a second route. Quarterback then throws it up to him so he can show off his ball skills once again. The quickness to break off that route, utilizes speed. It's the same thing of how he transitions from a pass catcher to a ball carrier, just like right here. He's just instantly pedal to the floor as soon as he catches that ball. There are guys that look to fall down at the wide receiver position, and there's guys who look to do something after they catch it. And this guy's a guy who looks to do something with it after he catches it. That's just a phenomenal catch. I mean, he's catching that far out away from his body, down near his heels, showing off that huge catch radius. And then there we get to see again his money route. What's his money route, folks? What is it that this guy's going to be able to day one come in and do it from time to time and give you a big play? It's that stop and go route. He gets those corners to buy in on that post. They buy in on it. And what's interesting about this play, I want to take it back to the line of scrimmage. We've got our guy at the bottom of the screen here. And what you'll notice about the cornerback is he has inside leverage here in his technique. So if we take his left foot and we draw a straight line across, that doesn't match up with Terry. You can see Terry's on the numbers. This guy's over the top of the numbers. So he's actually doing here is he's sort of getting a head start on anything inside. Post, slant. He's kind of getting a head start here to take that away if that's where the route goes. Despite having a little bit of that head start here, despite already knowing he can, at any point in time, he can react late to an inside slant or a post, he still bites on the first move because Terry's so adept at it. And as soon as Terry gets you to take the cheese, well, he's going to want the whole brick. There you go. So that Slugo route is going to be money for Terry day one, in my opinion. Ball skills again, coming back to an underthrown ball. Tracking. Fights off the physicality because he's a bigger guy. You're not overwhelming him when you're 5'11". Up over the top, high point again. Beautiful catch. There's nothing a corner can do. He's 5'11", 5'10". Even if he can jump tall. If you can jump higher than him, if you're taller than him, if you're longer than him, hell, if you've got another inch or two vert over him, nothing they can do about it. And here you're just going to leave him wide open and let him go right up the field. If there's one player on that team that you weren't going to leave wide open outside of Cam Akers, you might think it's probably him. A little post route, swivels back inside, turns on the Jets. It's easy just to toss a play away like this. It's easy to throw it away. And I think what is important here is Clemson's up in this game 42-0. So maybe there's a little bit of an element here where they've dialed it back just a little bit against this Florida State team. But you watch what he runs here, which is a nice little post route. off the jump, comes up, runs the post route, catches it, and then quickly swivels and turns around. This is against Clemson. This is against a team stacked with 4 and 5 starters all over the place. And he's running away from these guys here. They're not even close to him on the screen. This is where you can kind of see that true speed at play here. Again, runs an end around, turns around field. You can't do that unless you're at least a little bit fast. So I think we've got a good feel for him as a pass catcher. Let's touch on one little element here that I think is going to help him make this football team. A little understood element. Fantastic catch there as far as the ball skills. But I hope this gets you excited, guys. This guy should get you excited. This is a guy with a skill set. Deep balls fits with Russ. Post routes fit with Russ. Slugo routes fits with Russ. Hard not to find things here that are going to work. And again, I think we see the Slugo route here. A little one-handed action. No problem. No problem. Here are the ball skills to go up, high point the ball. There's nothing the defender can do. Top of your screen, slug out. Yep. Here it's so subtle. All he needs is one step. Watch the one step he takes here. Boop. One step. That's all it takes to get that defender to bite, allow him to then be able to create the separation because he's going to do the rest with his feet. And we're going to watch this play in a second when he gets matched up against C.J. Henderson in Florida. I wouldn't often show a gunner's highlights as part of a receiver's highlight film package, but in this case, I think that it's pertinent to do so. If you're going to make the Seattle Seahawks roster as a 4th or 5th even wide receiver, you absolutely, positively, without a doubt, have to play on special teams. All the way around, on kickoff return, punt coverage units, all of it, the whole shebang. So when I see this on Tamorrion Terry's highlights and heard about this prior to looking at him, that he does this very well, this is going to aid him and help him on making the team, even if he's up against a guy like, let's say, Freddie Swain, who's been here for a year. It makes sense why Tamorrion's very good at this. He absolutely has a very good get off the line of scrimmage with as far as his release is concerned. He's physical, willing to fight through contact, and then he can use his speed down the field to outrun defenders. So we're going to see him do just that here, right through the double team there, no problem. Fights through it, there to make the tackle. If he can do this with even a limited skill set as far as a receiver goes, he's making this team, and he will be utilized. Again on kickoff, punt coverage, if I could say it, makes the tackle. Again, we've got him on the outside as a gunner, fighting through double team, makes the tackle. Again, we've got him as a gunner, fights through contact, makes the tackle. This speaks to toughness. This speaks to physicality. This is encouraging to see. Here we go, nice little block on a bubble screen. Get a little bit of a taste of his tenaciousness here, right? It's just a taste of his tenaciousness. Watch him up top here. Stay on him, 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 stay on him. Yeah, we'll take that. We'll take that. All right, we've had a chance to see a little bit of his highlight package, so let's dive into the film and see what it has to offer here. And I'm going back again into that 2019 realm because for our purposes in this video, we're going to stay around that area. I just think, again, you can't take a lot off this guy when we look at his 2020 tape and knowing that he was dealing with a meniscus injury at that time. What I also like about this is, of course, you've got Florida. The Florida State Seminoles are going up against in this game, and Florida is the 11th ranked team coming in here. They're going to have pretty good defense on the other side, including, most notably, C.J. Henderson. This is a guy who was the second cornerback taken off the board in the first round in the 2020 draft. He was actually my favorite corner of the last draft, even over Jeff Okudah. So this gives us a pretty good matchup between Terry and him to see where, Terry is. How good is he? This is a legitimate matchup for him to go against. Not just an NFL caliber corner, but an NFL first round caliber corner. So let's see how he does here. And he's going to start out the gate here pretty quickly for us, but nothing notable off the jump. Little run play with a little bit of gadgetiness to it here, going to the other side away from them on the formation. No big deal. Here he just runs up the seam to the left. Again, nothing there. What's interesting about this is that the coach sets up this play to the next play. You ever want to understand how coaches' minds work and what they might be seeing, let's say, from the coaching box. We got a lot of guys up here near the line of scrimmage at this point. He gets Terry out here with Henderson, who they're trusting one-on-one, and there's a lot of open field out here on the edge. The play doesn't come to him on this throw, but watch what happens on the very next throw after this. So safety breaks deep. Coordinator realizes there that safety's not going to be able to get there with Terry's speed. Bang, run basically a same route. It's a little shorter post they run there. Easily beats Henderson on the inside. Nothing magical here other than just really at the end of the day, again, just they set it up here with the first move. You see the safety tries to get back in to Terry at the top of the screen. He's not going to arrive there on time. Terry's way too fast. Coordinator knows it. Runs it again. Safety's even closer this time. Even worse depth. And he just runs past. This is a tough play on Henderson here. It's a great play by Terry, but this isn't where he's smoke showing C.J. Henderson by any means. It's just a matter of he's being put way out on an island. Now, that's a little bit better. You've already seen it once here on this play, CJ. So now you would think Henderson would start to be worrying a little bit more about that post route. But here he comes right up the field again and hits it with him. Top of your screen. Pop, 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 pop. It's not a stinky route, you know. It ain't the crispiest of crispies, but it certainly gets the job done. And he's got such a big body that big frame almost, we've seen this with DK at times, in itself sort of creates separation, that it's such a big target for the quarterback to throw to. But you got Henderson right up there, not in sort of a halfway place between off ball and in press. Sort of caught in no man's land there and still moving at the line of scrimmage, which is just not CJ's best look. But we're already seeing Terry giving him some issues here. Pretty simple route run here. Again, one safety high. They're sort of attacking it. The post route's a great way to attack that because normally what you're dealing with is off coverage at that point. And so it's just wide open for you to grab it. We've seen a lot of opponents come after our Seattle Seahawks with this in our own single high defense that we tend to run. So good call by the coordinator there. Very good route by Terry. He did his job. Nothing super magical in that route, but again, he's doing this against first-round talent over there. Okay, so after Florida State scored, Florida went right up the field with that potent offense and was able to get another touchdown. Shout out to Freddie Swain, our Seahawk receiver, who got himself a touchdown on that first drive. But here we've got again on the strong side of the formation, our Mr. Terry lined up here against C.J. Henderson. And we will see here he's going to run a deep route, which for whatever reason, it's not C.J. trailing him in here in a second. Watch the quarterback kind of dance around in the pocket, in, out, then lets it rip. Just overthrows him. Now, we can't see exactly how it is that Terry gets his separation here. That part you're not going to notice. But what you will notice is this. There is easily 1, 2, 3, 4 yards of space that he has created in separation down this football field here. And this isn't C.J. Henderson trailing him at this point. This has got a number 2 on this back. Quarterback overthrows him. Russell Wilson will not in that situation. If you as a receiver who is that big get that wide open down the football field, Russell will put that deep ball right on you and complete that every single time. If we want to nitpick this guy and say, well, he's just a one-trick pony, he can only run the 9 route, fine. Only run the 9 route. You will be successful with Russell Wilson as your quarterback doing that. All right, so we're going to be cutting around a lot here because Florida State is definitely running a lot of the football in this game. Here we get to see another, again, go right straight up the field, wide open. Somehow you end up with 2 wide receivers here in the same place, but this is another play that's just indicative of getting up the field, getting open. Looks like he runs a little bit of that Slugo route is my guess here. We can't see a lot of what he does exactly on this play, but if you watch here, you see him make a little bit of a head fake move here at the bottom of your bottom right-hand screen with our guy here running up the field. I'm sure he took a little step to the post route deep over the middle, wide open, just overthrown again. So that's this. We've seen him make 2 catches in this game, and then we've seen him on 2 other plays where he could have had 250-plus yarders if the quarterback just puts the ball on him correctly. This is where I get really, really excited about this player because I understand a lot of people are going to want to see all of the route tree and going to want to see how he runs everything in between, but we've seen him run a pretty tasty post route. We know he's got the Slugo and go. We know he can run a 9 route. At this point, that's enough for me to build upon on a receiver that runs 4.4 at 6.3. It's just me. That's just me. That's just the way I'm roll. Nice release off the line of scrimmage, gets inside. We'll never know if he might have been opened up on that deep route that he's hit a couple times in this game because the quarterback just gets monsooned. 58 just gets a free and clear path. And that's not a good thing. Again, another nice inside release. We're not going to be able to take a lot from this because, again, the quarterback is under such good duress here, but you can see them running a similar thing here where they like to run their single high post snap. Florida does, and you don't know which guy's going to run single high. You just know one of them is going to be it. So he's already got inside here off the line of scrimmage on CJ. If he runs up this route and goes here, it's wide open, especially if this safety comes down and then this safety goes high and is biting over to this side. That would make very dependent upon what the quarterback makes as his read on that, if he's going from this side to this side rather than this side to that side. But either way, there's a good chance of it potentially being open because the post route can be a single high killer. Anytime you're attacking the hash marks in single high, to me, you're operating in a place where you got a pretty high success rate if you are an offense. And so don't know if this would have been a completion or not. Florida is just getting after Florida State's offensive line right now. But good release, nice post route. It's one of the routes that he runs really well. Can't knock him from running a limited route tree when that's just what the coaching staff is asking him to run time and time again. So we've already got in this game 2 deep routes overthrown to our guy Terry. I mean, he could have just had an incredible game here. And we've got another example on this play. Again, CJ has got to be thinking about that inside post in the back of his mind here. That's where Terry's really eaten up in this game. And so Terry takes advantage of that with now just a true outside release to the 9 route. Just run it deep, baby. Now, unfortunately, again, the quarterback just kind of craps the bed on this one and can't get the throw there, but still a great route. Gets separation. Ball is underthrown. Ball is thrown to the inside. This ball should be coming up higher and to the outside. I get it. Maybe the quarterback couldn't step into this throw exactly. But I all but guarantee you, if this is a Russell Wilson throwing that same kind of throw, I mean, he's not under crazy duress. He's got a good pocket. That ball is going to be put out here near the sideline. Not on the numbers, out here on the sideline. So a poor throw bails out CJ Henderson. I think he had some separation there. And Russell Wilson probably completes that throw. If we've seen 3 overthrows here, Russ is going to complete 2 of these. I don't know if this play is going to tell you a whole lot about Mr. Terry's receiving abilities, but it's a fun play to watch, so let's include it here. He is a guy I've said who does give you a little yak after the catch. An end around to a running back throw. Takes him a little while to get there. Underhand tosses it. Terry catches it and gets up the field. So here we're going to, again, watch this is more of the fight between C.J. Henderson and Terry. This isn't really much as what the play is happening with because it seems like the quarterback's really drawing his first reads to the weak side of the formation, away from Terry's side sometimes. But again, nice job. Fights through contact here, gets up the field. If this is an in-breaking route, kind of almost somewhere between a post and just an in-breaking route there. But nice job by him to get off. And one more quick look at it here in a second after this safety dinks this guy. But here we go. Get off, separation right there. With that safety already tracking that way, if the quarterback's looking to the backside of that read there, there's a decent chance you can get a completion. He's good on those post routes. It's not just the 9 guy. And you can go between a post and a 9 and use those 2 routes together in order to throw guys off. The guys will buy to one side or the other, and you can use them overselling to one side to then cook them on the other. A little bit of an acting job by Mr. Wilson. Give that man the academy. Give him that Oscar. Okay, we have another play here where he's doing an in-breaking route coming across the field about 12, 13 yards, and the quarterback throws it at his feet. This is now about the 4th play where I've seen the quarterback throw him a ball Why don't you lead him out ahead there? I don't know if he was worried about CJ coming back around, but yeah. Now we get a little bit of a comeback route here. Just a short little 5-yard turnaround. Again, I don't understand the ball placement on that one, but here's a nice little hitch. Gets the outside. Love it. And so he's comboing a couple things here. This is where there is more complexity going on in his route running than simply running the comeback. I'm going to run up the field and then come back. First, he starts out with a little bit of an inside feel to his release, but watch him now get inside, then gets outside, sells the go route, and then he can come back and make the catch. It's the selling the go route, but it's also, if he just goes and does the go route off the snap, there's a good chance that corner's still thinking, Henderson, maybe I should be thinking about the comeback route here. Maybe I can still jump that. With his inside release, challenging CJ to the inside, and then breaking to the outside, and then running the go route then, it sort of makes CJ think, okay, he tried his little trick move off the first. Now he's going to the move that he's going to settle on. But instead, this guy's got a third move in his bag on the play, which is the comeback route, which allows him to then get the catch. It's just this tiny little route. This isn't a big play. This isn't a thing that's going to win you, lose you a ball game. But when you see people knock this guy on not having the wide route tree or not being a good route runner per se, I don't know. I don't know if I see that with certain things like that. I see it where it's a little bit of like what we saw with DK. Just wasn't asked to do as many a variety of things. And here again, he's going to go back to that post route and win because he seems to almost be able to win at this at will, much like his Slugo route. Watch again. Up on the post. CJ's dropped back because CJ in this point's probably got a cover 3 responsibility. So CJ here, as you can see, the dead giveaway on a cover 3 responsibility for a cornerback is when they start their trot going backwards right off the snap when they're already playing off coverage. It's kind of a dead indicator. It should be an indicator for a quarterback as well. We're still, again, into that single high look. The killer is right there at those hashes on that post. Florida State smartly attacks it. Again, because CJ's got to be wary of his coverage responsibilities to the deep side of the field here. He can't be as worried as the middle of the field stuff. So this is just where it's the smart play calling, but a good route here, as he's been very good with that all the way through because he can get them buying in on that 9 route being run to come back to the post. Love it. He's having quite a good game here against CJ Henderson. I know it's 37-10 and Florida State's getting the doors beat off him, but it's not because of him in this game. He's done his job. And CJ's not done his. The NFL is quickly transitioning away from the 40 time to GPS as a better metric to determine a player's speed. This is welcomed by many of us out there that have watched this process for a long period of time and don't necessarily like the 40, especially when you're looking at those big linemen trying to run it, especially when you consider there's some guys that are track guys that don't have the football speed, and there's some track surfaces that are faster across the country at pro days that allow guys to go a little bit faster than they truly are. GPS is a much better metric. It shows you how fast a guy goes with the pads on, with the ball in his hands. And I bring this up because Terry Tamorrion in that incredible 2019 season achieved a top speed on one play that was just a hair under 24 miles per hour. This is notable because when you look at a guy that's known literally as the cheetah in the NFL, Tyreek Hill, he's never achieved a speed that fast. So this guy doesn't have paper tiger 4.440 speed. He's not a guy who's just fast when he's on the track surface. This is a guy with legit football speed. And you can't go out there and find everyday guys that are 6'3" with this speed, long, tall, ball skills, contested catch skills. These don't just grow on trees. It's one of the reasons that say nothing of lasting all the way through the draft. They don't tend to last through the first couple of rounds if they've got any kind of skill in that department of things. This guy did because of those off-field concerns, because of the injury risks, because you had a draft stacked at wide receiver. It helped to push him along through this process a little bit deeper. Their loss, our gain. And I see success for this young man. A lot of the same reason why I saw success for DK Metcalf. I don't see a similar trajectory of greatness for him that we're seeing with DK Metcalf, but success. And the reason being is that just like with DK, he comes in with this, he only runs a limited route tree. He's got the injury concerns. Yeah, that's what we had with DK too. But guess what? We're not going to need him to run a full route tree. If he runs 9 routes all day, he just goes straight up the field and burns people all day long, beautiful. We can utilize that. We got Tyler Lockett and now Dwayne Eskridge to run some of the intermediate stuff. He can be just that guy running it deep every time, especially with DK on the other side of him. Which way are you going to lean your safety in single high? You're going to lean over to DK or this guy? And then you're going to end up with one guy getting singled up, and he's going to eat up cushion, and he's going to run past guys. If he's even, you better believe he is leaving. And the reason I see that success for him, like I saw with DK, is he as a player with that skill set is now going to be paired with the best possible player he can ask to be paired with that skill set. Russell Wilson gets the most out of DK in this offense because of what DK also brings to the field and the similar skills that he has. This guy's going to bring that same kind of thing right out the gate, which should allow him to not only have a lot of upside as we move into the future and the player he could become if those other things hold up, off-field, injury, but could also allow him to be productive initially next season right out the gate, even if it is just running 9 routes, even if it is just running fade routes down at the end zone. This is a marvelous pickup by Seattle, a beautiful way to kick off the undrafted rookie free agent crop. And again, one of the reasons that I see this guy as one of the crown jewels of this crop, and as well the most talented undrafted rookie free agent I think the Seattle Seahawks have ever brought in here in the tenure of John Schneider and Coach Carroll. I think we got ourselves a scary Terry monster on our hands. My name is Brandon. This is Seahawks Scouting. I do appreciate you watching. Please like, please subscribe, and never forget, don't you ever forget, go Hawks.